Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to the second episode of Huddle ni Plaridel.
Yeah!
Woo! At the
Alright.
second episode this evening, dadalawa lang kami. Yeah,
Yes.
Bien, if you're
Two.
listening, tinulugan mo kami. Yeah, Franz is nowhere to be found. Maybe he's watching his
Yes.
dose of Extreme with Ann Mateo. Yeah, maybe he's watching right now.
Oh, extreme
Oh,
extreme channel. Yeah.
yes, Extreme Channel. Yeah, having his daily dose of Ann Mateo right now.
Yes.
So,
Sunday night ano niya? Habit.
yes, more like an addiction, not just a habit. So, with me tonight is my dear friend Mark Malio. Kamusta?
Hey, hey! Kumusta?
Hey,
Kumusta?
yeah.
Napakarami nangyari sa last few weeks
Oh,
and
yeah.
napakarami kailangan pag-usapan.
Yes, it's a very stacked episode tonight and medyo malungkot dahil dadalawa lang tayo pero we'll just
Oh,
keep the ball rolling and we'll
exactly.
discuss everything in store, of course, about basketball and everything in
Yes.
between. Okay, so first off, of course, we have to start this episode on a rather sad note because one of the pillars of Philippine basketball, Coach Baby Dalupan, passed away at age 92. Even though we are not yet born during the age of the Toyota Crispa Wars, I know that we can appreciate the legacy na iniwan ni Baby Dalupan sa liga, sa PBA. Yeah, your thoughts?
We, yeah, well, he's seen as an influence not only to coaches and to players, but I mean to the world of basketball. Yun nga, sa tribute na binigay sa kanya ng PBA, it shows na hindi lang siya pang commercial league, even sa national team. So napakalaki na naging influence niya sa Philippine basketball. And definitely, he will be missed. And his contributions to the sport, especially in the Philippines, will always be remembered and honored.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess Coach Dalupan, if I may compare him to one of the foreign coaches that I really admire, he's like the John Wooden of Philippine basketball. Yeah,
Yeah. Uh,
he really is a teacher first, and then basketball coach second. We cannot question the roster of talent that he has developed ever since he started from UE up until he went to Crispa and the national team.
yeah.
He really has the knack for coaching people, not just scolding at them, but really coaching. So, rest in peace and deepest condolences to the Dalupan family. I hope
Yes.
that they're able to go through this not easily, but be grieve naturally, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
So, um, beyond that, muntik na convoke na may isa pang
Nakakagod.
namayapa rin because
Uh-huh.
we just read from spin.ph that NLEX player Mark Cardona
Yes.
had a drug overdose because he
Mm.
tried to commit suicide
Mhm.
due to I believe it's a domestic violence case
Mhm.
that was alleged to him by his partner.
His wife.
Yes.
Yeah, it's his partner, yeah. And yun nga, actually, I asked you a question earlier when we read the news na does he still play for NLEX kasi I haven't really heard about him much recently, and then to hear this news, sobrang nakakagulat, ano, na parang makakarinig tayo ng balita sa kanya na ganito pa ka-negative. But we're hoping for the best. Hopefully he recovers, fully recovers after this and get his life back on track. I mean, he did some good things on the court din naman, especially during his college days and his early days in the PBA. And yun nga, we're hoping and praying na maging okay lahat and he'll fully recover.
Yeah, I hope that he fully recovers from this slight mishap in his
Mhm.
life. He did a good career, yeah. His hook shot is unmatched, and
Yes.
it's hard to imitate. It seems like he's just throwing the ball, but actually it's a calculated shot, and it's one of a kind, I must say. And
Difficult to stop.
difficult to stop because he just throws it kahit 3-point area yata. Sometimes you just throw
Oo.
it. So,
Mahirap ma-predict.
mahirap talaga. And Captain Hook, I hope
Yeah.
that
So,
you can recover from whatever you're dealing with. And I know that your fans, especially the diehard ones, will help you go through this. And I hope you come back strong for NLEX and for the league. Yeah.
yes, I mean, hindi pa naman siya, kumbaga, at his age na para mag-retire. I think he has still more left. Although medyo loaded, I think, sa guard rotation niya and next, but they could use his talents, definitely. So hopefully he can return back to playing basketball again and just get his life back on track.
Yeah. I guess at this moment of his career, Mark Cardona is like the instant offense guy for NLEX off the bench. He could be that
Yes.
guy because they have Sean Anthony, I guess, starting before him. So he can that
Mhm.
be he can be that microwave type of an offensive guy from the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
And they can provide yung veteran leadership definitely for some of their young backcourts there. They have I think si Simon Enciso who's I think starting para sa kanila I think for the past few games, and then you have those other young guards. I think si Kevin Alas is with NLEX also.
Yes,
So yung ganung klaseng mentorship, especially from him after what he went through during his college days and his early days in the PBA, playing with the likes of Jimmy Alapag for talk and text and being mentored by great coaches. Malaki rin yung value na mapoprovide niya for young guards in his team. So
Yeah. So all the best for Mark. I hope that he stays off the medicines. Okay.
yes,
Stay off
definitely.
them. Yeah, just drink Lipovitan or Red Bull, but not those kinds of medicines. Okay.
Yeah. And get some help, definitely.
Yes,
I
get
mean,
some help.
depression is kumbaga, something na very serious, and there are a lot of organizations that can help. So and it's available naman there. Hopefully he'll get his life back on track.
I hope Manong Asita Olava can help him.
Yes, true.
Definitely. So let's move on to another topic and the
Medyo
first-
somber ang start natin, no?
yeah,
Medyo
this
dalawang
really
bad
is,
news, no?
really
Medyo-
bad news.
Oh, lagyan natin ng konting excitement kaya yung next natin, no?
I guess so.
Not happy.
And it really is an exciting topic because the first time I saw it, I did not believe it. I thought it was an edited video. Yeah, I thought it was an imposed game wherein that guy that we are going to talk about did not really made that 3-point shot in my mind, but as I played it over and over and over again, yeah, it did happen. So, gone are the days that our pambansang kamao Manny Pacquiao is what we call stainless in the 3-point category. So Manny
Yes.
Pacquiao just made his first 3-point basket in the PBA. Shout out to Manny. Yeah.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Senator Manny.
Oh yeah, Senator Manny. Baka
Senator Manny.
Baka maban
He
tayo.
scored his career high.
Yes,
in
career
his
high.
short stint in the PBA.
Yeah, but I have to
4
feel
points?
for 4 points, and I guess he
Yeah.
got 1 rebound, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 1 rebound. Yes.
And, I just have to say this about Kyle Pascual, okay?
Biglang tanong kay Kyle Pascual.
Yeah.
Sige.
I just feel for the guy because he has to be that guy who is in the poster of Manny Pacquiao's first 3-point shot.
Ang magpapasalamat dyan, si Chris Chu.
Kasi,
Who was the guy yung nasa poster before when Manny made his first PBA field goal.
oh yeah,
Yung 2-point
yes.
shot sa corner, right?
Yeah.
Tapos Chris Chu was guarding him. So, pasalamat si Chris Chu at nag-graduate na siya dun sa poster na yun. Si Kyle Pascual na ngayon.
At mas
Ang
malala to
naalala
because
niyo
it's
sa
a
poster.
3-pointer.
Yes, a 3-point shot.
But-
That is true.
But if I'm a poster collector, so per se, I'd rather have a Chris Chu rather than Kyle. Especially for the ladies out there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, Manny made the 2-point shot, but at least there's Chris Chu on the poster.
Yeah. But
So,
ang isa pang ano, no, gusto kong i-focus na, well, I watched the video and I also read some of the comments. There was actually someone who commented about yung spin ng bola. And I
okay.
waited for it dun sa slow-mo. The spin was pretty unorthodox, if I may say. So parang, kagaya nga ng sinabi ng isa nag-comment dun sa video, parang siyang ikot ng mundo. Yung spin, kasi pa-side. Nung
Uh,
nakita ko rin parang, okay, first time ko nakakita ng ganitong klaseng spin and it went in. So, wow, okay. So that shot went in with that spin. How about that?
well, he's been accustomed to that kind of shot, which is
Yeah.
unorthodox to begin with.
Unorthodox.
Sino, sino ba naman nagre-release ng ganun?
Yeah.
So from the reels itself, you can expect an odd spin on the ball. That's why it's a miracle of miracles that it went in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
interesting statistic thrown during the game. Whenever Manny plays, I think he played his eighth game today
okay.
in their match against Blackwater, and out of those 8 games, they won 5 games.
Okay.
So he may be the lucky charm. And if you remember the one game they won this conference against San Miguel, he was, although he wasn't suited, but he was in the bench, and they
Okay.
beat San Miguel Beer. So mukhang lucky charm nga siya ng Mahindra.
So is it safe to say that Manny Pacquiao is the modern day Chris Bolado of the PBA?
Pwede. If they win a
If
championship,
they win a
he
championship,
could,
yeah.
yeah, he could give Chris Balado a run for his money.
Yeah, you can
Tingin ko may chance.
I just remember Chris Bolado. They just let him in for like 5, 6 minutes, and then before you know it, his team was already lifting a championship trophy after the game. So he was that lucky. Yeah, he played for Ginebra, Griffons,
Yeah.
I guess, and
Yes,
several
Alaska.
other teams. Alaska also, yeah.
Alaska, yes. He
So-
also won the championship with it.
So he has a pretty decorated collection of trophies
That's true.
in his house
Yeah.
because he's that lucky. Maybe Manny Pacquiao is following suit. They've won five out, like you said, they've won 5 out of the 8 games, and
Mhm.
yeah, actually, Manny Pacquiao declared in one of the articles also at Spin that it's impending that they're going to make the playoffs, but they
Mm.
really want to win a championship. So, do you think they have a chance
This year,
with
Well-
this conference?
this conference, well, they have a pretty solid group in terms of how they play. Talagang bigay to the gritty. I think that's what we call that group.
Yeah.
They have a young
That's way to
import
put it.
who's athletic, who can play inside and out. I think magkakaproblema lang sila when it comes to crunch time. But you know, those things they come through experience. Eh. They will learn a lot if they get deep into the playoffs, and I hope they do. Para naman there's a new team out there that's challenging.
Yeah, just to put some
pagdating sa-
competitive balance in the league.
Exactly. So hopefully, they get to do a deep run sa playoffs, but win a championship this conference. I would still consider them to be a long shot, but they're not a pushover anymore. They're a competitive team already.
Yeah, they've been given a boost by their import. White,
Mhm.
I guess. Yeah.
Yes, White.
Very gritty and a very versatile import.
Yeah.
Big boost for
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
I have another question though.
Yeah.
If let's say last possession, opponent is leading by 2,
Mhm.
would you now put in Manny Pacquiao to hit a 3-pointer to win the game for Mahindra?
Will I put in Manny Pacquiao?
Yeah.
If he turns into a Roel Gomez, siguro baka
Instant 3-pointer.
Instant 3-pointer. Remember that guy? Pag pinapas, Alaska rin yan, right? Pag
Yeah,
pinapasok
Alaska.
mga crunch
Number
time,
7,
Instant 3.
Oh,
But, yun. I don't know. Probably won't.
I get the way I see it from what happened to Manny. I guess he's going to jack up more 3-pointers in the game. I guess this is going to boost his quote-unquote confidence on the court. Hey, I made one. I can make another one, or possibly 2 in a game. Do you think he can make 2 3-pointers in a game? Do you think it'll happen?
I think eventually, if he continues to play, but earlier, late in the fourth quarter, when people were cheering him on to shoot, he actually forced a 3 pointer,
Yeah.
which of course went airball. But yeah, I think the confidence suddenly was there. All right, I made it. I can probably shoot another.
I guess it would be better for him to have somebody guarding him while shooting a three-pointer. That's why he made it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Kumbaga, sa salitang kalye, it's like asintahan. So,
asintahan, no?
Kyle Pascual, you're a certified asintahan for the moment. I hope you won't be the
True.
last.
True.
Yeah. Um, yeah, if you need help, Kyle, we can talk to you. We've been there. Yeah.
We've been there, yeah.
Yeah, we've been there.
Remember, Cal was a former teammate before being traded to Blackwater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was a former teammate.
Maybe that's why Pacquiao wanted to make his first three-pointer against a former
Of
teammate.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was
Statement.
traded. Yeah, it's a statement. Yeah, precisely. What a statement, though.
But I think he had a lot of practice in the All-Star game.
I guess so.
Yeah, the legends versus the stalwarts. I think that's or stalwarts versus greats. I can't exactly recall, but I think he scored what, 9 points during that game. He was given a lot of chance to shoot. So baka
Because
medyo
it was a,
practice.
because it was an all-star game. It's
Yeah,
a no-bearing game. Would,
that's true.
would you let Manny Pacquiao shoot that many shots in a real game?
Nah,
Much so a playoff game.
probably not.
Probably not. What's first about this is Manny Pacquiao is the quote unquote head coach of Mahindra. So now that he made his first three pointer, I'm just curious. Do they put in more plays for him, like a pick and pop screen in the 3 point area, and then he shoots it?
uh,
I hope not. I hope
Actually,
not.
during the fourth quarter, that game versus Blackwater, they were trying to run a play for him in
Wow.
the closing seconds of the game. I think it was a backdoor. I think the Asian import of Blackwater, Kawash, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken,
Kawash.
was really guarding him, and they were trying to free him up for a shot. And no matter how many screens he was running through, hindi mahiwalay sa kanya si Kawash.
Yeah.
So, so it's either sa speed niya or sa late niya. I don't know, but kudos to that 3 pointer. I mean, that's even the announcers, they did not expect that. Coach Ryan Gregorio's reaction was priceless, and the
Everybody's
crowd
reaction
reacted.
was priceless. Everyone,
Yeah.
everyone in the arena at that time, everyone who watched it live, I guess. Maybe somebody was eating popcorn in the stands, and then when he saw Pacquiao make his first three-pointer, the popcorn just dropped.
I thought
Yeah.
just choked on his popcorn. Oh, it is.
Or maybe eating a hot dog and then somebody choked on his hot dog while Pacquiao made his first three-pointer. Yeah, just to have one final say on this topic. At least it lightened up the mood from the first
Yeah.
two topics that we had.
That's true.
Just one final question for you, Mark. If
Mhm.
ever Manny Pacquiao made the three-point shootout, how many three-pointers do you think he can make?
Fearless forecast. He'll score probably around 10 to 12.
10 to 12. So that's like
Around 10 to 12.
how many money balls do you think he can shoot out of the 10?
I don't know. Probably one or two running balls. I really think he'll make 10 to 12 points in a 3 point shootout
You know
with
what?
that unorthodox release.
I want to make it happen. I just want to
That's
see.
like a-
Yeah. I just want to see it happen. Even though he doesn't win, I just want to see it happen. Now that he has made his first three-pointer, I just want to see it happen. Him.
But him versus Asi Taulaba would be nice.
Yeah.
The two of them.
Him
3 point
and
shoot.
like all of the other big guys in
Yeah.
other teams. Yeah, that would be fair fight.
That'd be
Yeah.
a fair fight.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty exciting. Like
I wouldn't be shocked
Charles
if-
Hart-
I wouldn't
Yes.
be shocked if Asi defeats him.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that.
We got to make it happen.
Yeah, I think that could be part of the All Star game.
Yeah.
That'd be That'll be a side event during the
And
All Star Weekend. Why
since
not?
since the All Star event is all about entertainment, why not make
Yeah.
a side bet about it?
Yeah, since you have
Yeah.
him in the PBA, I mean, milk whatever you can out of him. You
Yeah.
know, the crowd's eating him up every time he enters a game. So try to take advantage of that.
Mm.
Feature him in as many events as you can.
But I guess your forecast is just right, 10 to 12 points. I guess
Yeah.
that's just the right amount.
Well, in one of I think the 24 or what have you HBO programs
Okay.
before any fight of Pacquiao.
Like
There was
HBO
one time-
24/7, is that it?
Yeah, 24/7. There's one time where his basketball routine was featured, and he was taking shots, and he was making some threes. So
I wonder
guess,
if Kyle Pascual was also in that video. That's why he made a 3-point shot.
he's the guy who gives him the ball before he shoots.
Kyle, you go here. Kyle, I make 3-point in front of you.
Uh, and let me remind you, he's a Philippine senator. So
Oh
there you
yeah.
go.
Senator, we're sorry.
So this is, I mean, this is unheard of for a senator to actually be playing in professional league.
Yeah,
I don't know if anywhere else in the world
not while
Yeah.
being a senator, but we've had basketball players who eventually became
Turned
senators.
senator,
Yes.
yes.
Freddie Webb and Jaworski. And
but as a senator,
yeah, while being a senator and also semi-retired boxer
that's
slash
true.
recording artist slash action star, we haven't seen one.
Yes. hmm
He's a unicorn.
Yeah. And he's a TV host.
And
He
a TV
hosted a
host
game
as well.
show.
Yes.
Yeah, he hosted a game show.
And pambansang ninong as well.
And that's yes.
Yeah. So I just wonder how he manages his time though. Yeah.
So it would be difficult to be in that guy's shoes with
Yeah.
everything that he has to take care of. You know, it is what it is, and he has a fight coming up. So I guess we'll see less of him in the PBA soon.
Yeah, I guess so too.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a sad time for the PBA because we don't have anybody to cheer again.
Well, Mahindra has a lot of fans, I think, because of him and the novelty of him playing in the PBA.
I guess so. So, moving on from this topic, it certainly
Yeah.
made me happy. Shout out
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao. I hope
Thank you, Senator
Yeah.
Manny.
I hope you make more threes in your career. And again, Kyle Pascual, we're available if you want somebody to talk to.
You can talk to us.
Yes.
We feel you, man. We
Yeah,
feel
I
you.
feel you. We've been there. So you mentioned earlier about the All Star game with Pacquiao participating. Of course, the usual events are there, but one unusual thing about the recent PBA All Star was the crowd wasn't there. The people weren't there. Like
Yeah.
during the skills challenge and the Legends game, there was just hundreds of people in the stands. There weren't even people at the second level of Araneta back then. Maybe you can count it within your fingers, or maybe even more, just a little more. What could be wrong about that? What went wrong? What do you think so?
Well, I watched the skills challenge and the Legends game, and I just thought that because it happened on a Friday, I just thought that probably traffic
Yeah, I guess so.
was a main contributor because they did in Smart Araneta Coliseum. But as the night wore on, I mean, there aren't really a lot of people coming in. It's a sorry state. I mean, it's very difficult to watch because it's the main league basketball league
Yes.
in the Philippines. So I read a lot of stuff about it, and I agree with one of the points there is that they pattern it too much after the NBA.
Yeah, I
But the
guess
thing
so.
is, when you watch the NBA, you have a certain level of expectation, knowing how athletic, knowing how proficient those guys are. I'm not saying Filipino basketball players are not good. Definitely not. What I'm saying is, I think there's a better way to make that proficiency shine, right? Or that skill level shine, is for Filipinos. If you talk about slam dunk competition, after seeing what Zach Levine and Aaron Gordon did, I mean that was insane. That's out of this world.
And then wicked, man. That's wicked.
Yeah. Then you go here in the PBA. I mean, you have some high leapers there, some really good dunkers, but then again, you can't really expect the same results. I miss the days when before they were doing the rookie, sophomore, junior versus veterans game. I think that's very PBA. That's their own. They created their own identity. They didn't pattern it after any other basketball associations. So if they just create something out of their own, out of something that probably people haven't seen yet. There was an idea thrown around that time about the young ones versus the young ones.
Okay.
I think that would have made an interesting dynamic, or in addition to the All Star game, to the North versus South All Stars. A lot of people would probably watch that out of nostalgia, especially if you group together the guys that you've been watching in the early 2000s, late 90s, who are still playing in the PBA. That identity, they just have to create that identity that would pique the interest of people to get them to watch. I think that's what's missing there. How about you? Well, what do you think about it?
I guess one of the reasons could be that it was a Friday, and we all know that Friday traffic, or well, Metro Manila traffic is one of the things that we just have to live by. No matter how much we want to eradicate it, it's just there. But I guess one of the reasons as to why it had a low turnout is because I guess people here in Metro Manila don't care that much about the All Star anymore as compared to bringing it in the province. Like we always see it when they bring it to places like Lawag or Palawan. The stadium is packed. Not that the stadiums there are as big as Araneta, but you know the people are coming because they don't get to see their idol players that much. So whenever there's an opportunity for them to see them, even though it's just a lousy slam dunk contest or a 3-point shootout, they're coming. They save up money, they buy tickets, they come to the games, have some pictures, have some time with their idols, and it's good for the league. So I guess if the NBA is bringing the All Star game city per city, I guess we have to stick to that. The PBA All Star should be brought to more people, to the provinces, to an audience that really appreciates it because they don't get to see it that much because most of the games are played here. So if I may want to watch my Alaska Aces, I can just pick a game and go there and watch them live. As compared to these people, they don't get to see them much. So I guess that would be a good thing to bring back. Just pick a province, a safe one. Of course, we don't want to jeopardize the safety of the players as well. Just pick a location in the Philippines wherein, well, practically all locations in the Philippines basketball is appreciated. So just go a tour of provinces. Maybe what they can do is like one year they put it in Luzon, then the next year Visayas, the next year Mindanao, and then the next year they go back to Luzon. So that way you bring the game to more people, and it's good for the league, good advertising for the league as well. And I can agree with your point as well that we have to tailor fit our all-star games to what's best for us. And I guess what's best for us is entertainment, no crowd value. So why don't we have a celebrity game wherein I guess that would be good. Just imagine you can put I don't know, Jimmy Santos or with a retired player or
Yeah.
maybe heartthrobs like I don't know, Enrique Hill, let them
Mhm.
play, and it's a good
And
crowd drawer.
Daniel Padilla, let him play. I mean, he sees Steph Curry's game after himself, so or he sees himself in Steph Curry, so probably
Hey,
has some skill shooting the threes.
so he sees himself. He sees his game after Steph Curry's.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, the quantifier word there is sees.
Sees.
Okay, so
Sees.
whatever he sees, we don't.
We
Okay,
don't.
we don't.
Could be. No hate there. Okay. No
Yeah,
hate. Just pointing that out.
maybe he has
Just
a
pointing
third
that out.
eye that we don't have.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Hey, shout out Danielle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a good idea. I mean, it's been a long time since we have heard about, say, a Star Olympics. I mean, it was a big hit in the
Oh
'90s,
yeah,
right?
I remember that.
Where all the celebrities would play different sports, and basketball is one of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it'd be interesting to have a celebrity game.
But the most vivid memory I have with the Star Olympics, though, if I may just add, was
Mhm.
Richard Gomez punching Jingo Estrada. Yeah, I can vividly remember that moment.
It was that
Um,
serious back then.
yeah,
Huh? It
it
was that
escalated
serious
in
back
the
then.
news. It
Yeah.
was covered by the media, but they all made up. So
Yeah. But Richard Gomez is a former Wildcat, am I right?
yes, yeah. Shout out
Shout out.
Wildcat. Shout
Shout
out
out to former
Wildcats.
Wildcat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back in the days that Wildcats are still forced to be reckoned with. Not that we are not
Yeah.
forced to be reckoned with. We'll be
It's
forced to be
true.
reckoned with in the podcast.
Yes,
Pretty,
definitely.
pretty, pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess if you may suggest more events, I guess on
Mm-hmm.
about PBA All Star,
Mm-hmm.
banking on what's best for us, or banking on the fact that it has to be more entertaining or a
Mm-hmm.
different kind of entertaining than the NBA
Mm-hmm.
All Star. What other events do you think would attract
Mm-hmm.
the paying audience?
Well, I like your idea of celebrity game. I think, of course, outside of that, there could be some problems in terms of networks and all that, which sucks. I mean,
Yeah,
uh, for this for the sport to have that problem, but I think it would open up the PBA to a wider audience, especially if they bring in the big stars. You know, the fans of these people would come in the game and watch, and definitely it could fill up a stadium. No question there. Um, some side events like what we talked about earlier, 3 point shooting between Manny and Asi. It's
yeah.
fun. It's fun and all that. But remember in the All Star game before, you had that Charles Barkley and what's this referee's name? This
Well,
really old referee.
Dick
Um,
Bavetta.
Dick Bavetta, yeah.
Yeah.
They had this marathon, if I may call it,
Oh yeah, I
or a
remember that.
race. Yeah, so those types of side events would be nice. They can keep the 3 point shootout. I mean, if there's anything that our players are good at, especially in within the region, we're known to have guards who are great shooters, and it highlights our skill level on that category. Sure, you can keep your slam dunk competition.
Like,
Um,
yeah.
it can be kept there, but again, try not to mimic what the NBA is doing. And if I may say that young ones versus young ones idea, that's money right there.
Yeah, that would be
Uh,
good.
that would be good. The reaction it got on social media, you know the interest is there. Hopefully that will happen. And for me, I would love for the rookie, sophomore, junior versus veteran um, setup to come back. I think that would be fun also, especially since we have a lot of young players who are really good right now, and then some I don't know passing of the guard might happen. We could probably see who our future stars would be. Yeah, so those are some of the things I would probably consider.
I think the RSJ versus veterans would be a good setup. given that there are a lot of so-called Phil-Ams playing in the league, and
Mm-hmm.
when you have a lot of Phil-Ams, you cannot divide them between North and South anymore. I remember those
Mm-hmm.
days wherein you had the North or All Stars competing against the South All Stars, those players from Visayas, Mindanao region. Now we
Mm-hmm.
just can't put a difference or put categorize them as North and South because they all practically came from another country, and you cannot just base their classification based on the lineage of their parents. So it wouldn't be a good classification. So I guess the RSJ veterans would be a good one, and
Mm-hmm.
I guess in the 3 point shootout, I guess we can put distractions while people are shooting. like when like when let's say one of the 3 point competitors is shooting, somebody's scolding behind him,
Mm-hmm.
or somebody is banging in a palangana or something. Just to add entertainment value to the game, and by that we can see who really is the best 3 point shooter with distractions. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
thinking it out of at the top of my head. And as for the celebrity game, I guess it all boils down to the fact that these pretty boys can have their faces scratched.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why don't we let them all wear Rip Hamilton like mask
Face
while playing the
masks.
game, so that
Yeah.
in the event that they are scared of being scratched in the face and lose hundreds of pesos in advertisement money or
Yeah.
teleserye money, at least they have the Rip Hamilton mask on,
To
and
protect them.
to protect them, not just their face but their noses as well. So
Yeah.
at least they can play
We
the
don't
game.
want
Yeah,
any scratches on those pretty faces, right?
especially the girls, I guess. Yeah, yeah. I
But
guess.
I have a question for you. Well,
Okay.
what do you think about this the dance off that they do, the North versus South dance off before the game?
Uh,
What are your thoughts on
that was cheesy, man.
that?
well, well, it was entertaining for a few minutes, but as it went on, why do it? Again, we are going back to the fact that sometimes basketball players want to be entertainers, but there are some people who were able to cross the line successfully. Like, well, there's Benji Paras who was able to parlay a great comedic career right now
Mhm.
na namana rin nung anak niyang si Andre. But if you're a basketball player, stick to basketball. Okay? Unless you really have really, really, really good talent, like Abarientos before. He really knows how to dance. He was really a great dancer. But if you're
Mhm.
just there for the Instagram or the YouTube shares or the Facebook
Mhm.
shares, just don't do it. Stick to basketball. Stick to
Mhm.
your game and just don't do whatever it is that Arvin Santos did with Baguio before. Okay? You're a basketball
but
player, period. that's just,
but
just
yeah,
that's just me. But it was
I mean
cute, okay?
for Joe Devans, I mean, it suits him. Yeah, I think he knows his dance moves pretty
Uh,
well. But
yeah,
there
I
are
guess so.
some awkward dancers in there that
Mm.
would rather be somewhere else than where they were at that point.
Mm. I guess they could just be props, like poles or whatnot, just to be just to add entertainment to the thing. But yeah, it was a cute addition. But
Mhm.
well,
So you think it has ran its course? It
yeah,
may have lost its appeal already.
it has it was appealing for a few minutes, and then after that,
Mhm.
well, you have to think of another gig next year again. So it's not a
That's true.
dance off anymore. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they can put just like what the New Zealand rugby team does before the games, the haka. Maybe they can put that, or maybe they can have a dance off with Enrique Hill in the middle, and then the other team has Mark Harris We don't know. So, but it was cute for a while. But I guess it has run its course. Uh,
Yeah.
if you're a basketball player and if you're not good at anything else, stick to basketball.
Stick to basketball.
Stick to
Yeah.
basketball. Now, of course, we're discussing this because we want the best for the league. Of course,
Of course.
it's the Premier League, not just here in the Philippines, but in Asia, where we're being invaded by Asian imports, and we just would like to for the league to be successful for a long, long time. That's why it's a sad
That's
fact.
true.
Yeah.
We have seen good times to the league. We've seen them encounter low attendance and then see a resurgence in popularity. So it's important that for the PBA to continue because, of course, all of the great Filipino basketball players are there. No
Yes.
question about it. And we want to see the PBA succeed. And no matter how frustrating sometimes it gets with the stuff that they do, and as fans, but of course the support will always be there.
Yeah. It's the national league of the Philippines.
That's
Uh,
true.
Even if you don't accept it, it is. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, enough of the PBA All Star. Let's
Yeah.
put it to rest and let's have some NBA stuff.
All right.
Recently, there have been, aside from the Kevin Durant announcement of
Mhm.
going to the Golden State Warriors, I guess we can discuss two interesting developments. Contract extensions, if I may say. First is Russell Westbrook signing an $85 million deal, and LeBron James signing a 3-year, $100 million deal. First
Mhm.
question would be, do you think they're worth that kind of money? Or is it a pretty low value for them?
Well, it has been talked about for a long time that no matter how much LeBron is being given or is earning for his team, he would be the lowest paid, underpaid
Yeah.
NBA player because of his value to the team and what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying this because I'm a LeBron fan. I'm saying it because other people have said it as well. But yeah, finally, I mean, LeBron is now the highest paid player in the NBA. I think this would be the first time that that would happen.
Yeah.
If I'm not
First
mistaken.
time that he was the highest paid in a team, and
Yes.
first time he was highest paid in the NBA.
In the NBA, yes, because during the early stages of his career, of course, you had Kobe in the NBA, and you have some ludicrous contracts for other NBA players that didn't turn out quite well. But yes, LeBron has not had this distinction as being the highest paid player, and finally, I mean, at this time, at this point in his career, after winning a championship or bringing a championship to Cleveland, something that he promised when he came back to get this reward. It may not put them in a good financial situation as a team, but looking at it, I think their team is pretty much set for the next couple of years, having locked in, of course, Kevin Love and Tristan Thompson and some supporting cast as well. So for them to reload, of course, they lost guys like Delhi and Timofey Mozgov. But they replenished that with some talents as well. And then it's an interesting point for them. But about his salary, it's good. Finally, he gets recognized. And if I may move on to Westbrook also,
Okay.
he must be rewarded definitely for signifying his loyalty to OKC. It's his team now, no question about it.
Yes.
It's already
Westbrook's
his team.
man.
Yeah, it's already his team. There's no one else, no more alpha male 8.1 or 8.2, but it's his team, so he has to be paid as the leader of the team. And I think he will show up next season with the fire and the intensity more than what we expect, probably because of everything that happened during the off season.
Actually, I can't wait for an angry Westbrook to play this next season.
Me too.
Yeah, he'll be just
Me too.
furious. He'll be mad. Every time he gets the ball, every time he drives, every time he passes the ball, he'll be just mad. Even though
That's true.
Westbrook, he has this temper. He has this competitive temper in a game, and you can just see it escalating now that he is the alpha male in the team. Yeah, he doesn't have to look to his left. He doesn't have number 35 anymore, so he's the guy, and you can just see his numbers growing from here. I guess. Um, he
But
averaged,
if you,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
he averaged practically a triple double, and we can just see his averages going up for the next season. So, if fantasy basketball players would like to have somebody to bank on, I guess
Yeah.
Westbrook is one of the players that they have to lock in
Ac-
early in the
ac-
draft.
Actually, that was what I was about to say. Because during last season, when we in one of the fantasy leagues that I was playing at, it was a race to get Stephen LeBron, and I ended up getting Russell Westbrook, and I was so thankful for it. I mean, the guy just padded the stats every game, and
Oh yeah,
for him to have that freedom now, no question about it, he'll be sought after in fantasy leagues. And if you can just forgive his field goal percentage, probably, but
and
I mean his
turnovers and
assists
turnovers.
and turnovers,
Yes.
yeah. But look at his assists numbers, rebounds, points, steals, even, and he gets a couple of blocks probably at best in a game. So he's a stat stuffer, and fantasy players would love to have him on their team.
Interestingly, though, so you said that um, there were two guys who were racing for LeBron and Stephen, right?
Hmm.
And then you got the third pick, which was Westbrook.
Hmm.
Seems like to me it's like 1984 all over again. So you got Jordan. Whoever. I'm not saying that LeBron is Sam Bowie, but
Yeah.
you got the better deal out of it because you had a
Yeah.
guy who can fill up all of the pertinent parts of the stat sheet.
Yeah.
I hope you did won that league. I hope you did win.
I actually didn't. I ended up being second in that league. I got decimated by injuries late, and some of the guys, the key guys, were just resting
Yeah.
for the start of the postseason. But that's fine. I mean, he just pushed me. I mean, the stats that he gave me every day, it's so unreal.
Yeah. Yeah, just imagine your team without Westbrook in it. Maybe you've
That's
been
true.
yeah, we've been last place siguro.
I would have been. I would have
Yeah.
been. And if you look at it, his value, even during the playoffs. I mean, his clutch game could still be questionable,
Yes.
especially
His
it's very
decision
apparent.
making during clutch time is
Mm-hmm.
still up for debate.
Mm-hmm. True. It was especially apparent during that series against Golden State, where they can close out the Warriors. Um, Him and Durant, I could see a lot of um, holding back, a lot of question marks as to who's going to take the last shot. There was that feeling.
Oh yeah.
Nobody just wanted to take the leadership role, I guess, because there were two of them. I guess that's one of the reasons also why Durant wanted to leave. But the problem this time is when Durant moves to Golden
Golden
State,
State.
he'll have more people to consider. I mean, no matter how free the ball moves in that end of the court,
Yeah.
with it's a different dynamic as to having just one guy to look after in terms of scoring, in terms of handling the ball. So, and now Westbrook's been given the key to the city of Oklahoma. So, good luck to him, and I'll be waiting for that very first matchup against Golden State.
Who do you think will win that game?
On paper, probably I'd give it to Golden State, but uh, we'll see.
But given an angry Westbrook.
Yeah, given an angry Westbrook, it could get pretty insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see him get 40 points and like 10 rebounds and 11 assists, like
Mhm.
3 steals and maybe one block or two. It's
Yeah.
possible. Yeah, it's attainable for him.
Do you think he could be in consideration for MVP this year?
Definitely, because he doesn't have a quote unquote ghost anymore to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's
Mm-hmm.
really option one now for Billy Donovan, nobody else. It's not Oladipo. Although that dynamic though, they're both slashers.
Mm-hmm.
That would be, in terms of space, that would be quite questionable for both of them. If only Oladipo can develop or can improve his outside shooting though, improve on it. That would be a better
Mm-hmm.
dynamic for them with Westbrook being the slasher and Oladipo being the knockdown shooter from outside. That would
Mm-hmm.
be a better dynamic in terms of space because right now they're both um, in your face, go to the basket type of guys.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's true.
that would be that's one of the one of the game aspects that I think Oladipo has to work on during this off season, whatever is left of the off season, to be more consistent in outside shooting because without without a doubt, Westbrook will be slashing on every opportunity that he can. Even though he is
Mm-hmm.
double team or triple team, he will just slash and just eat his opponents alive. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just him. And I guess what I'm most scared about LeBron's contract though is you've mentioned about it a while ago. It's not cap friendly, if I may say.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have much wiggle room to sign more free agents.
Mm-hmm.
And on paper, if you see Cleveland on one side and most probably Golden State is the anointed winner of the West,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them matching up that well against that team. Although
Mm-hmm.
on the big man side, they have an advantage. But if you have three shooters like West, Durant, Clay
Mm-hmm.
Thompson, and Curry playing on the other team, that's just tough to guard, especially with
Mm-hmm.
the guard lineup that they have. And I guess
Yeah.
his salary, though he deserves it, it's what we call a cap killer because
Mm-hmm.
they don't have much wiggle room, especially come playoff time when they can sign another player or get somebody
Mm-hmm.
by a trade. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the only danger that I see with LeBron James contract.
Mm-hmm. Well, in terms of LeBron's contract, it's 3 years, right? Where the
Yeah,
first two guaranteed and the third one he
third
has a
year is an
player
option.
option.
Yes.
Yeah. I think Cleveland is banking on, if I'm not mistaken, they still have a trade exemption. I think
They
they
do
still
have, yes.
have that. I think they still have that. So, in the event that they would need that X factor before the start of the playoffs, something like uh, what they got from Dante Jones. Right?
Yes.
They signed him a few days before the playoffs. I think they may have that player using that trade exemption. But yeah, for this year and next year, it could be a headache in terms of signing other players. I think they're banking on probably the increase in salary cap again next year, so they can bring in. But in terms of the impact of the players that they lost, let's say, of course, Delhi, he was once dubbed as the Curry stopper, having
Yeah.
his or losing his defensive tenacity would be a big hit for their guards, especially knowing that Kyrie isn't really that known to be a defensive stopper. Delhi gives them that different dynamic. Shumpert isn't really a defensive stopper anymore. I just have to say it after watching the playoffs and especially the finals. He may have lost some of his athleticism and his movement because of injury. So hopefully he can regain it. But yeah, it could be, it could work out that they get tied up to all these big contracts, including LeBron's. moving forward. But the third year player option could play a major role also in how they construct their team by then.
Yeah. And one other thing that we haven't discussed yet is that J.R. Smith hasn't signed yet with them.
That's true.
So it will still add up to the salary cap. Most likely they will pay the luxury tax. So that leaves
Mhm.
them with little to none wiggle room as far as salary cap is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, as for Westbrook's contract, I guess it's like a ticking time bomb for the GM of OKC, Sam Presti. It's like him
Mhm.
saying, "Okay, I'm going to give you 2 more years, build a team around me, and let's see
Mhm.
what happens from there." And I guess they are on the right direction right now with
Mhm.
guys like Cantor, with Steven Adams,
Yeah, of course.
Andre Robertson can develop.
Yeah.
Ilyasova is
Mhm.
also there, so they have that
Yes.
stretch four kind of
Stretch
guy.
four. Yeah.
So they are building their lineup around him bit by bit, and I hope that in
Mm.
the coming year or 2 years they can add more assets to that team and be a real
Mhm.
another championship contender, if not win it all.
Yeah. I think it's good that you pointed out the supporting cast in OKC. Because if you look at it, OKC is built with young players. I mean, Cantor and Steven Adams and
Yes.
Oladipo and Robertson aren't really that old. If you compare to, say, Cleveland, wherein if you look at the bench that they have now, minus J.R. Smith, you have guys like Shannon Fry, Richard
Oh yeah.
Jefferson, Mike Dunleavy, Mo Williams, Chris Anderson, James
James
Jones.
Jones.
Those guys are pretty. They could call them veterans. They've been in the league for quite some time already. Steady veterans, but in the grind of an 82 game season, injuries could play a factor. Fatigue could play a factor. There are a lot of different things that could play a factor. And I understand the concern that you have now in terms of LeBron's contract and the supporting cast that they have. Uh, it's not as young. Say if they go up against a Golden State squad that has some pretty athletic players in Draymond Green and Klay Thompson and of course Steph and KD definitely. So running around after those guys could prove to be challenging. But yeah, I think Oklahoma set themselves up pretty good long term. They may not turn out to be a championship caliber team yet this season, but they have a good lineup in terms of front line, having those two big guys in Cantor and Steven Adams. We've seen the chemistry that they've built during the playoffs. The Stash Brothers, they call themselves.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and well, the only problem that I have, which you also mentioned earlier, is the lack of spacers on the floor, lack of shooters. Robertson isn't really a known threat from
Yes.
deep, same as Oladipo. Cantor has his mid-range game, but not. I mean, it's not really a stretch four. You can insert Ilyasova there, but then again, you lose some of your edge inside, which you have with both Cantor and Adams on the floor. So that could be a challenge for them as well. But yeah, in terms of the lineup, they've set themselves up pretty good for the future as of now.
I guess
Mhm.
with both contracts, one interesting similarity I guess that we can see with both contracts is that they have player options after 2 or 3 years,
Mm.
and I guess that's really timely because by that time that they presume that TV deals would go up. So when TV deals
Mhm.
go up, player salaries go up. So we can expect that, like for LeBron, he played the first 2 years and then doesn't go for the third year, and then signs a new deal. Maybe he can top 40 a year.
Mhm.
You can only
Mhm.
you can only see that it's going to that direction.
Mhm.
Westbrook can eventually get like 35 a year because he is that
Mhm.
talented. So again, we can see an explosion of salaries.
Mm.
We can only hope what will happen with Durant once his deal with Golden State goes up, and so
Mm.
for the rest of the guys there. So again, we're seeing um, enormous contracts now that what we perceived before as a high level contract is not that high anymore. Like an
Mm.
11 million per year guy before is what we perceive as overpaid is not that overpaid anymore.
Mm. That's true. Well, as a LeBron fan, I
Mhm.
do hope that he would go the other way as he reaches the twilight of his career. I do hope he pulls a Tim Duncan wherein he takes a pay cut and so that the front office could assemble a competitive team around him. I mean, he's set for life. I mean, he has a Nike contract,
Yeah.
lifetime Nike contract. He has a lot of sponsorship deals. I think
A lot
his
of businesses.
um, businesses, yeah, he's set for life. So hopefully he goes into that direction. But who knows? I mean, he's a good businessman, and as he said, he plans to own an NBA team in the future when he
Yeah.
retires. So I still don't know. Let's see.
I guess he's in towards that direction as NBA owner.
Mm.
As we all know, he's trying to chase the great Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He has publicly stated that there's this ghost in Chicago that I'm trying to chase. So
Yeah.
there's that. Um, so going back to OKC with
Mm.
the lineup that they have, and Westbrook now being the main guy,
Mm.
how far do you think would they go next season?
I think at best it's a deep playoff run for them, and they could pull off a surprising as what Portland did last season, but
Okay.
ultimately fall short to say a contender. Um, I'm really hoping we get to see a 7 game series between Oklahoma and Golden State. Crossing my fingers on that one.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
really love to see them go head to head, Durant versus Westbrook. That would
Just
be
I would
insane.
just like to see them guard each other like for three, four
Yeah.
possessions and see what happens from there.
Let's see what happens. So I could see that could be their peak. They could go for a deep playoff run, or they could go for a lower seed in the playoffs. I still think they could make the playoffs if Westbrook ends up playing most of the season, or is healthy for most of the season.
So you see them probably going up until the second round of the playoffs.
Probably.
And
That's the
then
best case scenario for them right now.
possibly they'll lose in the second round, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a
Mm-hmm.
stretch for them going to the conference finals because there's Golden
Yeah,
State and
San Antonio.
San Antonio is still there,
And I'm still not
and
out
Clippers.
I'm still not counting out the Clippers. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure they've been through a lot of negative stuff, but they're still the Clippers. They're still pretty talented. They still have Doc Rivers as their coach, so they're not an easy out.
I guess that's the 1, 2, 3 in the West right now. It's Golden
Yeah,
State, San Antonio, and then the Clippers. And of
Clippers.
course, for the East, it's still Cleveland's conference to lose.
Yeah.
Nobody
Hmm.
really made the nobody really made significant adjustments to the team to really match up to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Well, Boston
Hmm.
did a lot of moves, but
Yeah.
it still is not par with what they have in Cleveland. So
Yeah.
it still is Cleveland's conference.
There are a lot of interesting scenarios in the East, but it's all on a let's wait and see what they can do.
Yeah, probably not this
Yeah.
season.
Not this season. Of course, you have things going on in New York. You have, as you mentioned, Boston. You have, uh, I don't know, Atlanta,
Atlanta lost a step
Toronto.
though.
Yeah, they lost a step actually.
Yeah,
But
lost Teague, lost Horford.
let's see what Dwight can bring there. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's at least finally they have a true center playing with the team.
Yeah, to
So
bring
they're still
chaos.
Yeah, they're still coached by Mike Budenholzer, so
Oh yeah.
that San Antonio Spurs philosophy is still there. But I don't know. Dwight is a huge X factor. You don't know if you're gonna get the good or the bad out of him.
Okay.
But yeah, there are a lot of interesting stories in the East, but still, it's Cleveland's it's Cleveland's conference right there.
One final question from this topic, though. Do you think that Russell Westbrook can be MVP and Most Improved Player next season?
Hmm. Interesting.
Because he doesn't
Well,
have anybody else to pass the ball to. He's option one. Yeah, you can see Steven Adams passing the ball to him like most of the time.
most of the time, yeah.
So you can
He
just
could
see his stats pad up.
he could go for Kobe's 81.
Yeah, he can average 81, I guess.
He can average 81.
I just throw it in the cushion. Yeah, I just throw it in the wind. Threw it in
Yeah,
the
well,
wind.
let's see. MVP is probably I think he has a chance. I think it would be in the conversation for MVP. Most improved player could be. I don't know if he improves by leaps and bounds from what he did last year. That's a short MVP season for him, definitely. Yeah.
Especially, I guess, if they average a triple double the entire season,
Oh yeah.
that would be a strong
Definitely.
consideration.
Yeah. Hopefully not on 30% shooting.
Oh yeah, not on
Hopefully
30% shooting and not on like 8 turnovers a game.
Yeah.
That would be good for the fantasy stats, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on, and
Yeah.
roughly about 3 hours from now
Mm-hmm.
will be the gold medal game
Yeah.
between Team USA and Serbia.
Mhm.
Are you scared of Serbia pulling off an upset?
I don't think they can. I don't think they can. If it was say Spain who the US would face in a gold medal game, I
Yeah.
would probably give Spain a fighting chance. But Serbia, I don't think they can. They played the US in the elimination round, and
They,
the
they,
US faltered
they
in the
lost
end.
by just 3 points.
Yeah, they lost by just 3 points, but you could see where US had their errors in the end. They got complacent when the game was ending, but you know they were in control the entire game. They were up double digits for almost the entire game, except for that final few tense moments. You could see some cracks in the US there. But I think those cracks can easily be remedied. In terms of talent, US is way ahead of Serbia. If there were any team that would challenge the US at this point, I would consider Spain and even Australia, with the way Australia was playing before the what you call this the quarterfinals and semifinals rolled around. So I don't think there's much of a scare with Serbia. How about you?
Well, just putting everything in perspective, this
Mhm.
Team USA has one of what we can say rockiest journeys to the Olympics, because they had their first 2 games and then they just blew out their opponents, and then came Australia that defeated them by 10, and then came Serbia, defeated them by 3, and France as well, and then came Spain, and then they lost by 6. I guess Serbia will give them a run for their money, but
Mhm.
the Team USA is just too talented to lose in the end. So I can see this as a game wherein Team USA would win like in between 10 to 20 points. How about you?
Mhm. Uh, Probably around 10 to 20. Could be. Could be. But yeah, it's I still look forward to watching it. If not for the interesting and the exciting play of what's his name, the guard of Serbia.
No,
Um,
Bogdanovic.
no, the other one, the point guard, forgot his name. So it's very interesting to watch. Well, I think 10 to 20 would be safe for them. But yeah, you mentioned how rocky the road was for Team
Yeah, it
USA
was.
getting to
They had a lot
the
of scares
to
during
the
those
World
games.
Yeah, they had a lot of scares actually. What do you think was their main issue with those close losses to Serbia, France, even Australia, you can consider, and of course to Spain in the semifinals.
But I guess I cannot take away from the talent of their opponents because
Mhm.
those are world class basketball players and teams like Australia. They're just filled with NBA players. France, they have Parker, Serbia is a team. All of these European and Australian basketball players, they do know how to play. And I
Mhm.
guess the level of competition is just there. But I guess the main thing as to why they're having this rocky games in the middle and the
Mhm.
common theme for Team USA all throughout this Olympics, they just always start slow.
Mhm.
They always start
Mhm.
slow.
That's true.
They always let the opponent run its scores, score as
Mhm.
many as they want, and then when the time comes, they just flip a switch and then they go. That's why they always end up catching up, and sometimes they always end up winning by close margins because they always start slow and then they eventually heat up and then they eventually pull off a victory. So I guess that's
Yeah.
the main thing as to why they have these close games. Maybe you can put it to over complacency
Mhm.
with the thought that hey, we're Team USA, nobody can beat us. But I
Mhm.
guess another thing could be the composition of the team itself.
Mhm.
There's just a lot of give me the ball guys in this team. Guys that will score first and doesn't necessarily set screens or
Yeah.
the dirty work kind of guys. I guess the only
Mhm.
dirty work kind of guy that we can pinpoint in this team are Barnes, maybe Draymond and DeAndre Jordan. So
Yep.
out of the 12,
Exactly.
only three of them are the screen type, the bullies, if I may say,
Mhm.
who doesn't look for the ball first, but they always find their way on how to be open and how to make shots from
Mhm.
out of assist or out of dish offs. So I guess the composition would also be a factor. And moving forward, I guess they would have to consider it and put, I guess, more role players into the team.
Mhm. Mhm. I agree with you in terms of the shoot first mentality. They have a lot of one-on-one players. I mean,
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving is a great player, but as a point guard, he's a shoot first point guard. If you go back to his team in the NBA, the Cavaliers, you can see a lot of LeBron James bringing the ball down the floor and facilitating most of the offense,
Yes.
which would free up Kyrie to actually be the spot up shooter. Because that's the type of player that he is. He likes to dribble the ball a lot, handle it a lot, then create situations, create opportunities to either shoot the ball or find an open man because of the threat that he poses, either when he drives or when he's set for a jump shot. Um, that's the type of point guard that they have in their starting lineup, and then he's surrounded by, let's say, Carmelo Anthony, who is also a shoot first type of player. You have Kevin Durant, and it's good that you mentioned that DeAndre Jordan is one of their role players, quote unquote, because he does it pretty well. You can see him sparking their defense. If you go back to that game against Spain, he really held his own inside, matched up against Pau, who was the main focus of the Spanish offense. And he, I think that is his best game so far in the Olympics. So it speaks a lot about the composition of the players, that most of them are actually one type of guys. And then another issue that I see in them is spotty shooting, especially from three. When you have a guy like Klay Thompson in your team and is shooting as poorly as he is right now, that should really give you uh, a huge share. He had his breakout game late in the tournament. That was against France, if I'm not mistaken, in the 32-point game. And
Yeah,
then
he was
after
being bailed
that,
out. He was bailed
yes,
out.
it was one. He scored 17, I think, in the first half, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. So it's really it's really alarming to see him struggling. And he had his breakout game against France, struggled over the last couple of games, finally found his groove again against Spain. Sorry, it was Spain where he scored 17 in the first half. Enough to give them a 6 point edge, I think, at halftime. So, um, if they, if you go back to previous Olympics, you would have a lot of floor spacers out there and a lot of slashers. It was a pretty good dynamic. But now, if they put in a lineup of, say, Jimmy Butler and Paul George together, that's a pretty good defensive lineup, but offensively, that's pretty iffy. They're not really shooting the ball well, and that is a main issue for them also. That's why you see a lot of close games and a lot of big leads slip in some of the games.
Yeah, I just thought how much is a factor that they are in Rio. You know, at one part of their mind, they're saying to themselves, hey, we're playing a game, but at the back of their minds, hey, we're in Rio, we have to party. How much do you think that much affects their mentality in the game? I have to be in the beach, I have to be sunbathing, I have to see the Brazilian girls, and I have to finish this game.
Could be.
Right?
They're staying in a freaking luxury boat.
Yeah.
Near, if it's near one of the premier beaches in Brazil. But
They're staying in a luxury boat, and then a few of them have been pictured entering a brothel accidentally. Yeah. So that shows you how much they are into the game. That's why they have these close games.
But you also have to point to the fact that out of the 12, only 2 has had previous experience of playing in the Olympics, and that would be Durant and Melo. Everyone else are first timers. So there could be some form of complacency on their end. And even in international level competition, you only have Melo, Durant, and Kyrie, I think, and then Marcus Cousins with experience. Paul George was able to play the last time he had an injury.
Yes.
Larry DeRozan was his first experience as well. I think Jimmy Butler definitely, DeAndre, yes, and then Draymond and Harrison Barnes. So yeah, I think that also plays to the that also contributes to their struggles. But see how strong Team USA is. I mean, these guys
they just overpower everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
What
They
they
wear
lack,
you out.
what they lack for shooting, they just put up for athleticism and just sheer talent. That's
True.
who they are.
If you break down their offense, they can go 1-on-1 and shoot over you and still win the game. And that's pretty crazy. So they're that deep, they're that talented.
There's just some moments in the game wherein they do this so-called illegal offense wherein one guy has the ball and all 4 of them are on the other side.
Yeah, watching.
Yeah, that's the time of Team USA we have right now. Yeah.
And I guess that's why they're struggling with some zone defenses that's being thrown at them. It's because there really isn't much spacing and ball movement, and even movement without the ball. Let's say the ball gets to Kyrie or Durant, stays there for most of the time, and then they shoot forced shots or difficult shots. And even though you do make some of those or most of it, still outside of the flow of the offense and kind of throws everything out.
Oh yeah. And there's
But
yeah.
I have a question. How do you think our say for example officiating how is it affecting the players? Because it's pretty, how do I say it, inconsistent. Some of it.
I guess that could be a factor too, but you cannot leave the result of the game to the referees. That's why you still play the games. They're just there to call everything. If the calls are iffy, you have to adjust to it. If the calls are tight, you have to adjust to it. If they're loose, you have to adjust to it. So it's a matter of adjustment. So If the referees call it this way or that way, you have to have the right kind of adjustment to just play to win and just to survive the game. I guess it could be one of the factors, but it's not an alarming factor, if I may say. It's not the kind of factor that we talk about. We can talk about years from now. Like there have been no really controversial decisions about the officiating that really changed the course of any of their games. There have been mistakes, yes. There have been missteps from the officials, but as far as game-changing calls are concerned, there's little to none of it.
All right.
Actually, I do have there's this suggestion from some of the media members in the United States that if they can instill the fact that you can only win one gold medal for Team USA, do you think that would be good? That other players can be given an opportunity, especially the what we call mid-level guys.
They give him exposure in international competition.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
the, like okay. Like like mid-level guys. You do know that.
still in the NBA, but really more of role players.
Yes. Like
Say Anthony Tolliver or
like Lance
I don't know.
Thomas.
Lance Thomas.
Yeah, those kinds of guys.
Well, actually, if it's pretty, it's really interesting if they would give him a chance. We could be seeing that in the World Cup, knowing that the World Championships, basketball World Cup, basketball World Championships, because as you know, right, the schedules are going to coincide with the NBA season, and the pros may not be able to participate in the qualification games or even in the main tournament. That could actually happen. Well, what they can do is actually they could form what other countries are doing. They could form a pool, although of course the USA is doing that now. It's just that the pool is composed of the top guys in the NBA. But to have mid-level guys play for you, I don't think they'd be doing that because of the prestige that they get out of winning the Olympics. Remember when they lost, they were so thankful with Argentina, with what Argentina did to the US in Athens, because it sparked it ignited the passion that USA had in
Yeah,
the
it built
sport.
the redeem team, as they say.
Yeah, it built the redeem team, then leading to where they are now. So it's like a big deal again for all of them. So there's that level of pride that they have in the sport. Like, this is ours, and we can't allow any team to beat us. So I don't think that will happen anytime soon. Would it be good for the sport? Well, I would go on the other side and say it won't, because as much as possible you want the best players to be playing, especially in competitions like this. So it's for the betterment of the sport, as they say.
Yeah. So I guess if we are to construct this team, how many role players, so to speak, would you put in? Would you put in it out of the 12-man lineup? Because right now they only have probably three: Harrison Barnes, Raymond, and DeAndre. So would you add to that chemistry? Like add two more role players, and then 7 of them are scorers.
If I look at the makeup of Team USA from the redeem team up to now, I always see it like they have. I would exclude the team now. I would say that they always have at least 2 role players. Remember in the redeem team they had Patient Prince,
Yes.
and they had Carlos Boozer,
Yes.
the utility guys, the guys that you would field in if say one of your big guys gets into foul trouble, or if you need to stop someone from the other team from going berserk on offense. So you can take
Somebody to grab the boards.
Exactly.
Mm.
The Olympics after that, you had that team was stacked from top to bottom, but you had Andre Iguodala and you had Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Right? So Iguodala again was that guy who can field in to stop the opposing team's top scorer or even point guard just to disrupt the offense. And then Anthony Davis is your last man on the bench, but he's your utility big guy. Again, if you need somebody in the middle to grab the rebounds, outer shots, put back slams, what have you, he's that guy. So they always have that. The problem with this team right now is you have guys like Harrison Barnes, Draymond Green, and DeMar DeRozan not getting solid number of minutes. Actually, you have three of them. Initially, I thought Draymond Green would be fielded in a lot in the Olympics because he's your stereotypical stretch four, and he's scrappy. He can guard any position, but he has had difficulty in the Olympics. Harrison Barnes is actually like the last man off the bench based on what I've seen over the past couple of games. DeMar DeRozan has had more playing time than him, if my stats are correct. So they do have that right now. It's just that I think the composition of the team it's not as explosive as the previous ones, where you had kid running the point with Kobe, LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and then you had Chris Paul running the point, and then you had Durant, Melo, LeBron, Kobe. So it's not as explosive. You don't have that facilitator running the floor.
Yeah, I guess you don't have that pass first type of point guard in this
There
team.
you go. That's what you don't have in this team.
But
So
yes,
that's
all of this will be forgiven if they beat Serbia in the gold medal match.
That's a goal.
Yeah, that's a goal. The goal is a goal. Though is a win is a win.
A win is a win.
Just to give an update on what's happening in the bronze medal game between Australia and Spain.
Spain.
It's pretty close, 85-84 in favor of Spain.
Wow.
So who do you think would win? I guess this is already in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. If you ask me, I would want Australia to win. Just for the heck of it. I mean, they deserve it. They played a heck of a tournament thus far. They deserve the shine, actually. So I would want them to win.
Yeah, Andrew Bogut deserves another medal.
Yes, he does.
After not playing Game 7, he deserves another accolade. And
That's
because
true.
Spain has always been winning in the international scene.
Oops. Sorry. Yeah.
So I guess they can give this one to Australia for now. Actually, what's scary about Australia is that years from now they can have like a Ben Simmons there, they can have an Exum there. They do know how to develop basketball players in Australia. So
That's true.
They do have a talent pool that may not be as deep as the United States, but is capable enough to give them a fair fight.
Yeah. Interesting, right? Australia and Canada are interesting international teams for the future.
Oh yes.
Knowing the level of talent that both have at their disposal, if their players are going to participate. But we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. And we'll see how Team USA will beat Serbia in the gold medal match about 2 hours and 30 minutes from now.
Yes.
Will you be watching?
I will try to.
I will also try
I
to
will
watch.
try to. I'll be joining hashtag Team No Sleep.
Oh wow. I'll be joining hashtag sleep now. Okay. Thank you very much, Mark, for joining me tonight on this second episode of Huddle with Plaridel. So thank you very much as well for listening. We do have a Facebook account, facebook.com/Huddle with Plaridel. You can like it, listen to the episode once we upload it, and just give us shout outs or send your questions through the Facebook page. We will also have a Twitter account in the future, twitter.com/HuddleWithPlaridel. We'll just announce it on our Facebook page when will that be up. But until then, for Mark Malio, this has been Lance Fernandez for the second episode of Huddle with Plaridel. Bye for now.